audio. Good morning and welcome back to your future hand. My name is Julian Biggs. We're about to get into it. It is January 17th. 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. What's going on in the market today? ETFs. Still got people going crazy because nothing's really happened with the price. Still looking at these levels as my support and resistance flips here from previous bull runs. So if we break this down, oh, it is snowing real good now. It's snowing real good here. Snowy day. Anyway, let's get in here. So this orange line, this is what I'm looking at right now. And that is from the 2017-2018 bull run high. And you can see it had acted again as support in the following bull run. And we broke above that back here, beginning of December, really, was the breakout in my opinion. So not this. This was just speculation in my opinion. And, originally, obviously, there was some money that came into the launch of the ETF, which was a successful launch in my opinion. Some money came into it, but like I said, the Grayscale's GBTC fund, so the fund that they were using for Bitcoin before, which was not a physical spot ETF, is unloading. And this is fine in my opinion, because again, for the last 6 to 8 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, plus the breakout week, so 8 weeks really. We've been trading in the same range, right? And this is not bad. This is a huge level of support, so it'd be good to see us build a shelf in this area, just as we've been building some of these larger support floors on the way up. So, testing 37.5 again, the breakout point of this move, which, back here, like I said, beginning of December. So testing 37.5 again, is not unlikely at this point. 4 days left in this weekly candle, and it doesn't look good. But we had a huge shooting star candle, and nothing's really happened since. So we're Wednesday now. 2 days of trading's been open on the market because they had a long weekend, and nothing's really happened. So they transferred 19,000 Bitcoin over to Coinbase again this morning from the Grayscale GBTC fund. Great trade. 19,000 Bitcoin. So what's that? $800 million went there this morning, and then there was 11,000 Bitcoin traded yesterday, which was another $500 million. So the fact that it's still right in the same spot, like this is the weekly chart, it's right in the same spot. Nothing's really moved. So I don't know why people are freaking out. Right? We're still holding above fibs. But I bet you I got this. Let's just see what that looks like if we reverse that. Yeah, so this is really good. This is really healthy, in my opinion. We've been able to hold this range for the last 7 weeks since we broke above this resistance in December. First week of December, we broke this resistance, right? That's major. This is a huge wall of support at 37.5 to 35K, in my opinion. So even if we did go down there for a little bull trap, or a bear trap, sorry, would not be the end of the world. But you can see that we're holding these fibs as a support, man. And a lot of people don't like the fibs or TEA on Bitcoin for some reason. I've been hearing lately in the spaces, but it works. I'm gonna trust them. But you can see that we hit basically the 100% of this move. I've been going on the candle bodies lately, but resistance again, and we're now fighting the 78.6. So, like I said, we could retest this line and retest the breakout point of $37,500. But that's not too worrisome in my opinion. I do think we're going to keep going upwards. If they get money for the new ETF, they have to put it into Bitcoin. Like, that's the deal with this thing. So money's coming. And I wanted to talk about this. So the whole point of Bitcoin, and for most of us, it's about self-custodying value and taking something out of the legacy finance, and holding our value for ourselves. But you got to think, like, there's also a responsibility factor for you, especially if you have family, with your value and how people would get access to it if something were to happen to you. So for these older people with much more money than, you know, a lot of the people in the crypto space right now. So you're talking about, you know, support and resistance. Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, the resistance is obviously going to be our high points, and the barrier that is blocking the price. So another way to look at the resistance is also the demand area. So supply. There's supply there, right? So people have put sell orders at these levels. So you can look at that as a supply area, and generally that's actually how I trade, is supply and demand. But the support and resistance could just kind of give us an idea over the long-term trend, because this goes back to 2017 and 2018. But anyways, once a resistance level breaks, what we want to see is that level flip into support, right? So after or following the 2017-2018 bull run high, we had a couple levels of resistance as the price attempted to get back to the upside, right? And the first one is being this green line that I've added in. So you can see it was the first resistance after the breakdown of the 2017-2018 run. That was the first resistance. And I made it green because it did flip into support over here. So it's interesting. But you can see one hit here, another hit here, and then eventually the breakout that retested as support. So that's what we want to see, is resistance points flip into support to identify that this thing is going to go to the next level of resistance, basically. So we flipped the resistances of the 2017-2018 bull run here, right? And we had this massive run up in 2020 and 2021. And you can see that the major high, the all-time high of 2017-2018 acted as support multiple times through the 2020 and the 2021 bull run, and then eventually also acted as the first resistance before breaking down through these other two, but catching this bottom resistance as support at $15,500. And this is why I was able to call the bottom before it happened. And I think, honestly, I think I was the only one who called the bottom before it happened on YouTube, because everyone else was saying 9K, 12K, 7K. Like, people were going crazy. I literally called $15,400, like almost to the dollar. I said 15.4. So in the ultimate, the low was like, yeah, 15.4, 57 it says there. So I mean, like, anyway, doesn't matter. Fucking ego bullshit, but that happens. But yeah, we flipped it into support. So to me, that marked the bottom. Like, it's never going below 15K. And if it does, it's got to be some end of the world type shit that brings it down here. Like, it's gonna be war. Like, I think that's like what people don't understand. It's like we are living in a really convenient time, and we pay attention to some of the silliest things and the consumers and things, and the things that are popular on social media is just like, man, there is so much going on that you should be covering, and we're just not. But we are closer to like nuclear war than we've ever been before. So if there is some cataclysmic event, black swan event, maybe it goes back down below 15K and scares the shit out of everybody. But that would have to be something really bad. The reality is now is that a spot ETF was approved, which means that now people with $100 million, 200, 300, $1 billion, $6 billion, they can't responsibly fucking put their value onto a USB stick and then have the seed phrase stamped onto a metal plaque. Or what do you wear it as dog tags? And then, you know what I mean? So it's like somebody could take that from you, potentially, unless you can really protect yourself. But a lot of crypto people probably fucking can't. You know what I mean? And if you have family in $6 billion, you can't just put all your value into Bitcoin. So the spot ETF gives these people a place that is safe to put their value, and it's insured. They don't care about a management fee. People talk about the management fees too. Who gives a shit about the management fee when you're trying to just look after a legacy and look after your family? The idea is that it's insured, and if shit hits the fan, they can sue somebody. So they can comfortably put $1 billion there, $2 billion, $3 billion, right? Because they have somebody to sue if something happens. So the bigger money is going to come and bring this thing back to the all-time high, right? Regardless of what people's opinions are on the ETF. Because for me, I like the idea of unbanking and having self-custody and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm working with thousands of dollars, not billions of dollars, you know? So I'm just not there yet. I mean, we came in, you know, Marty and I came, well, Marty was in a little bit before, but he didn't hold. So he didn't really benefit from these. We came in really in 2020 and 2021. And we've been accumulating ever since. And because we've been DCAing and because we accumulated through the dip, we are now in profits. We're going to continue to accumulate. And when this thing goes up into the north, that's when we'll do well. So the idea is to accumulate as much as possible, but you don't want to be putting in more than you can afford. So you don't want to, like, you know, this is at the very least a novelty collectible, right? There's only 21 million. Don't you want one? There's 21 million. There's 8-9 billion people in the world. There's 21 million Bitcoin. Wouldn't you want one? Even if it was just a collectible at the very least. You know what I mean? It's rare. It will be rare to own a whole Bitcoin, right? And there's people buying them thousands and thousands at a time, right? Why wouldn't you just want one, even if all it was a novelty collectible, right? Anyways, the reality is the money's coming. Doesn't matter if you don't believe in ETFs or if you think people should have self-custody. Responsible people with much more money than us are coming. Okay? This right now during the launch is nothing to be concerned about. Even it came to the bottom of this channel. I hope they're talking about, oh, GBTC, they're dumping this fund. Grayscale's dumping all this fund. Good. I hope they dump their whole bag because I don't have near enough of this shit. Right? And it's not going to go to $1 million overnight. The idea that they've been accumulating is so that they can impede the growth. And also, if they have control of an ETF, then they can regulate and distribute more Bitcoin than the rest of us, or like the Bitcoin itself can, really. You know what I mean? So who cares? Who cares? Who cares what they do? We all want it. And you should have some. 1% of your value. You DCA, you look away, and you wait for the future. Because right now, I mean, the security of that self-custody is not the greatest. Right? So I can understand that. That's finally like that's probably the first valid argument I've heard against Bitcoin is that it's not quite ready. And maybe it's not. Right? But it's not trying to do it overnight. It might take 50 years. Right? But it is slowly eroding greed from our system. It's slowly exposing what's wrong with the rest of our financial systems. Right? So, it's great to me. But that's a bit of a ramble. First, let's go into the daily chart and actually see see what's going on. And I mean, I don't know which way you want to look at this now. Do we look at this bearish?
Is this going to dump back to the 37.4?
Could. It could. So I guess if we go from the high to this previous low, if we switch this even to the bearish bias, this is what we're going to be looking at. So let's look at a bearish bias. Oh, ding dang. You know what I didn't do was loop this. That's unfortunate. So, dun, 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 dun. There we go. Whoopsie doodle. Damn. Anyway. We're looking at this at the bearish perspective. So we did hit the resistance here. So 78.6% fib would be resistance of this move to bring us back down. And then the low of this move here, $41,500. So $41,500 is going to be our range of support, and maybe an entry for a long, but it's also been holding this for a couple of days here above $42,000. But this does kind of look like the start of an accumulation pattern, and it could still come lower. Yeah, RSI tested 50% and is looking for lower prices. Looking for lower prices. Lost my train of thought. Dog in the snow. Took my dog out. Rescue doggo. First time in the snow today. It's pretty awesome. Actually. Pretty awesome. Yeah. Alright, well, let's zoom in a little more. Distracted. Distracted. So if we look at this on the 4 hour, still the same. Still the same, but see, we've been bouncing here. And this was a nice trade. If you had caught that, this was actually a really good sign of a double bottom. And this was around most of the feedback and news that I was seeing was nobody could read the charts or really knew what was going to happen. But I don't think people look like, I mean, they need to broaden their perspective in chart to chart. Like the bottoms are going to be more bars apart than you think for this move. So this move actually printed a very nice entry point and double bottom. So we had the wick low, but remember, I always say the solid candle bodies are going to be your best entry point. And that, I mean, it didn't go anywhere because the market was closed, but it was a good sign that was going to be a support. So, I mean, that trade could have got you, I think it was like a 5% move, and with some leverage, say, I mean, I traded 7X, so if 35% move, it's a really nice trade still, and it was a good sign of support. But I mean, the 4 hour now, testing 40%, 2 hours left in this candle. It kind of looks like it's going to go south today. We know that the GBTC fund transferred another 19,000 Bitcoin over to Coinbase this morning. That's $800 million. But they haven't really been moving the price again. They're slowly trickling this. They're going to transfer the money. They don't want to lose opportunity. They can't sell too much at one time, crash the price, because somebody else will buy it up faster than they can. Probably, or potentially. So now it's like the race is on. Everybody's got ETFs out, 11 different ETFs out. They're all going to be having, they're all going to have massive sales forces out trying to get people to invest with them instead of other firms. Like, the money is coming, and they lined it up perfectly with the halving. But like I said, is there one more doomsday event? Like, has anybody even looked to see when the CPI inflation numbers and when that decision comes out? Well, I'm sure people have, but I haven't. When's the next FOMC meeting? We should learn that. Yeah. But anyway, again, today, 42,000 seems to be a nice support. 41,500, the support level underneath that. So that's what I'm watching today. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Hang in there. Do the things. Like, comment. Let me know what you're thinking, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Figs and Bogs.